Well, well, well. Hello, everyone. We are finally back at the computer and we are covering the wonderful world that is YouTube drama these days. Well, it's not even just on YouTube anymore, is it? It's technically half of the party that we're talking about is on YouTube and the other half is on Kick. So, yeah. So it's not even really YouTube drama. It's just halfway there. Drama in particular. But hello, everyone. So let's just go ahead and get started right into this as we move over to hopefully my wonderful webcam here if it'll work. If not, that's also fine. It doesn't need to, but I'm hoping it does. Um, no, you don't want to work? Is that the way we're going here? No, I'm totally fine if it doesn't want to work. It just means I don't have to be on camera, but I would like to be. Nope. Nope, doesn't want to work. That's okay. I'm totally fine if it doesn't want to work. We'll just get into talking and not worry about it. I'll put something else up in the little corner there so that way it's not just empty. But anyways, so what are we talking about today? Tonight, definitely tonight, we are finally getting into what has been going on for like what, the last 2 weeks now? Something like that. But good old dark side Vangelion, whatever you want to call him. Good old dark side Philly boy was finally snaked, finally seething, as our wonderful boys over at Kino Casino decided to absolutely 100% just take a dump all over him. And honestly, Phil just doesn't know how to respond at all. He was starstruck, dumbfounded, just didn't know what to do because the people that he 100% convinced himself of, and he can say he didn't do this as much as he wants, but it's just not true. But he 100% convinced himself that he wasn't getting snaked by anybody. He felt that there was just absolutely nothing wrong with the casino boys whatsoever, that they were his bestest compadres and all across this here United Webs. Turns out that's not the case. Not the case at all. And the interesting point about that is that I had already kind of did a guessing that they were going to eventually do the turn on him. I didn't know exactly how long it was going to be. I think that I said it was going to be about a year, maybe, that they would milk it and then finally would turn and jump on him. But turns out that I was wrong. I was wrong about that. Instead, they finally turned on him right at about the 8-month mark. So it didn't even last a year. But then again, they milked the shit out of it. They both, DSP and our boys over at the casino, got all the money that they could out of it. And just before anything else, I would like to still say that my opinion about Kino Casino and the way that they run their channel and whatnot, and the way that they do everything, it's always completely up to them, of course. But there, sometimes watching their stuff for me is a little hard, just because um, I can't handle the constant them interrupting to clarify shit. I mean, I know it's not really my place to tell them what they can and can't do with their own show, and let's face it, I'm never going to do that. However you want to run your show, you run your show. I don't really care. I just have to in my opinion, it's a little difficult to follow it sometimes, just because, well, it's just a little bit difficult for me. Is the best way to put it. So, uh, so right now we are going to be looking. Oh, it's paused. It's paused, isn't it? Yeah, I guarantee it's why that is. Yeah, okay. Well, anyways, I'm trying to set something up while I'm talking, so I do apologize. I apologize, but don't at the same time, as I am doing what I can do. So, anyways, Dark Side Phil has been seething basically ever since our guys over at the casino decided that they were going to finally just completely take their dump on old Phil. And after they got done dumping all over him, they decided to expose all of the stuff that he has claimed to them over the time that he had been quote unquote friends with them. And needless to say, some of the stuff that Phil admitted to them, in my opinion, is a little gross. And what I'm going to mean by that is pretty simple. Phil, in all of his, I don't know, it's definitely not wisdom, but Phil, in all of his dumbassery, decided that it would be a grandiose idea that while he was consistently fibbing to the boys here, supposedly, and this is all his word, he had claimed that he was the one that was snaking them, although that's honestly just dumb in my opinion. It's very obvious that what happened between Phil and these guys, it was basically just all it was all on the casino. Like, they really got him good, is the best way to put it. And he 100% likes to believe that he wasn't the one getting his balls ripped off, that he was instead snaking the snakes, as he said. Like, he claims that he lied to them the entire time, and so on and so on. We're going to go over this as it comes up. But it's pretty, needless to say, it's pretty interesting. And if you have any sort of a soul in your body, some of the shit that you're going to hear him say is honestly just gross. And I do believe he covers some of it in this interview that he has with Review Tech USA. And needless to say, he brought Rich from Review Tech USA on because he thought that it would be interesting for him to essentially turn the tables and have someone there to make fun of the boys at the casino, but it didn't really turn out that way, and you're going to see why. And like I said, we'll comment on it as we go.
Over $5,000.
By the way, before we get completely started, shout outs to Memology 101. A lot of the stuff that we're going to see is going to come from him, and also shout outs to our casino boys at the Keno Casino. PPP and Worski, you all are still cool people in my opinion. But yeah, like I said, for me, your show's sometimes hard to watch, hard to listen to, but I'm getting used to it, I think.
I owed my tax attorney over $5,000. All of that money that was phantom money that I didn't have got charged to my credit cards, and completely and utterly maxed out. Any remaining credit that I had was maxed.
Maxed out, guys.
One thing I found funny is that things that I've just said for years, you make it like I'm going to stalk you and dry hump your front door in the middle of the night. When PPP said those things at the time, now you're different because the fallout and, you know, he was calling your wife fat. Back then, it was with them, it was just razzing. What's the difference between when I said something and when PPP said something, which would be just as bad, if sometimes not worse?
The bitch is fat! She's fat! Water Weird has gifted a sub!
Why was there a difference with that?
And see, that's another thing, is that this is the reason why I think, and why a lot of people believe, that Phil was completely bought into the idea that the guys over at the casino, the people that were helping make him a lot of dollary dues, this is the reason why he let them get away with so much, because Ash was constantly, or PPP, whichever one you want to call him, was constantly shitting all over Phil and shitting all over his wife, like in between the podcasts that they were doing with him and whenever they had him on the show, they were constantly shitting on him, constantly shitting on his wife, constantly shitting on what he does, his content and everything else. And he constantly made excuses. Always said that, oh, they're just razzing me, it's fine. They can say whatever they want to say. They're cool. And I do believe he's basically just going to be like, oh yeah, it was just all part of the game, guys. They were making me money. What can I say?
Well, there's two things. Number one, if you have some kind of an arrangement with someone, if you're working business-wise with someone, okay, yeah, and you know that there's a mutual benefit to being associated or making content, then you give a few inches, right? You'll give a little bit of leeway. You'll let them get a little bit of a rise or get a little bit of a boost or a little bit of whatever it is on your behalf, because quite frankly, you're also getting a boost on their behalf by being associated or making content with them. All right. But just like everything, there's a limit to that. And what's happened is PPP took it upon himself to keep pushing those boundaries as far as he possibly could, thinking that he was a big shit, basically, and he could get away with whatever. Yeah,
but that was at the 11th hour, though, Phil. I mean, there was actually a video where, like, you tiptoed into confronting him about what he said about your wife, and you gave him a pass. Also, too, there's a video that Mighty D has where you were, and this happened multiple times. It wasn't just in his video, where you would be in their kick chat in like the wee hours of the morning, text messaging them or messaging them in their chat like a teenage girl. You were gifting subs. You would go back and forth. You always say that your time, like, that was, what were you doing then? You say your time is valuable. You say you're very busy. But then you were sitting there in their chat, essentially just simping, actually, which is funny. We'll talk more about simping later, but that was very strange to me.
So Rich, I have to be honest with you. All right. I'm going to be very honest with you right now. Okay. I do have a plan for this appearance, and it's nothing whatsoever what you think it is. But I want you to calm down. I want you to calm down. There's no guests coming on or anything. It's just you and me. I promise you that. Okay. No special.
Okay.
No That's shocking fun. Twists. No, oh my God. Gotcha.
Even if there was a guest, that would be fine.
Rich, do you recognize this?
Those are your poker chips, Phil. Yeah.
Oh,
correct.
God.
This is the briefcase that was used as a prop during the co-op react that I did with Kino Casino back in the summer when we watched your documentary from June the King. And basically, it was used as a way to humiliate you over the course of that event. And everything, was around this chip in the casino. And you even called it out in your content. And you said, Phil, you fool. They're not your friends, but you have their memes in your content and all of that. Yep. I'm well aware of all that stuff that you said. Okay.
Sure.
Which
That's actually a great stopping point. I'm glad it buffered. So he claims that, so this is where he's getting into the claim that he already knew that they were going to quote-unquote snake him. He already knew everything. It was all just a big, ha-ha, I've got you, I'm only pretending to be retarded sort of ideal. And I applaud the boys over at the casino for pointing that out whenever that came up. Because that's exactly what that is. Well, I'm just pretending to be dumb. I'm not actually dumb. I'm just pretending. Unfortunately, it's the same way. He was 100%, without a shadow of a doubt, convinced that they were his friends. He let them get away with just about everything that they said to him, his wife, and everyone else. And he tries to claim that he was actually already in on it. He already knew what was going on, blah, blah, blah. That's just not the case. And Phil can claim now, from this point until he's blue in the face, that he already knew what was coming, but he didn't know. He absolutely had no clue. So, nice try, Phillian.
It was true from the beginning. Everyone saw that coming from a mile away. You were a content mill for them.
So, okay.
As you've seen.
Fair enough. Now.
Also, that's another reason why we're doing memeology stuff, is because I love the way he edits videos. It's just funny.
I bring this up for a reason, and we're going to explain it in just a moment. But I have one other question for you before I actually show you. Okay. Are you familiar with the king snake, the animal? Nope. You're not?
Nope.
The king snake is a creature, a snake that lures other snakes into its den. Dangerous snakes, snakes that are known to already be predators, rattlesnakes, and others. The king snake uses this trick in order to make those creatures feel safe. And then the king snake surprises those creatures from behind and swallows them. The king snake...
Are you swallowing me, Phil?
Hold on. The king snake eats other predators whole after laying a trap. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the briefcase. This is Andy and Ashton's briefcase.
That's the best fucking picture he could have picked for it, I guess. I don't know why you would ever use... No offense to either of them, and I don't care if they take offense or not anyway, but why would you use that picture in particular for that particular moment? Why not use something different? Why? Why use the picture of them at the beach? Couldn't you have picked something better? Oh my god. Anyways. I agree.
Because, ladies and gentlemen, today on this podcast, this is not the Level 1 podcast featuring RTU. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Level 666 podcast straight out of fucking hell. Because today, live on the show, it is time to explain to you how over the last 8 months and the last couple of years, all of my planning has finally come to fruition. I robbed Kino Casino. I'm not kidding. I'm not fucking kidding. Everything that you have seen happen, I swear to God, has been part of my plan all along. Because all of you think I'm so fucking stupid. You all thought that this was he got fooled. He had the wool pulled over his eyes.
You did.
I 100% had this planned. It's not true. No one believes you. You're an idiot, and it doesn't work since day one.
No, I don't believe you.
Yeah,
I've been watching you now for over a decade. You were full in on this hook line, and so you called Andy your gaming soulmate.
Okay, Rich, I got the receipts. So here's the funny part, folks. All this week, there's been all these threats thrown around by Kino Casino saying, God forbid that any of these private messages be leaked that I had with Phil or we had with Phil, because these private messages would be so damning. They would hurt him so bad. And man, he is hiding from it. And we're counting down to when we leak the messages. I already put the messages online. And by the end of this show, I'm going to give everyone the links and you can all read them for yourselves in full.
I don't know.
This was my plan
this
all
doesn't
along.
sound like 4D chess. This sounds like damage control.
There's no damage control here.
This sounds like you're just trying to get in front of what they're going to say.
There's nothing to say. As you're going to see and what we're going to go through, everything that they think they have was already planned ahead of time. Every single thing that I told them was either a lie, a half-truth, or something to buy their confidence. So they would think that over time, they would have something on me. Because the truth is, Rich, I'm tired of being pushed around. I really am, all right? I'm going to be honest with you and the internet right now. In 2023, when I did that Side Scrollers interview, and then the next day...
Because those interviews make you seem disingenuous, Phil. Like, think about how simple...
Fair enough.
Think about how simple would have been to show, like, hey, just show me that down from, which we know is your account now, which we know you're still using, by the way. Down from the rafters is my WWE Champions account. My Sweaty Man Addiction is there. And then you were like, you know, I got to protect my family, which made no sense, Phil. That made zero sense. How does showing a username in a game, that's the equivalent of like showing a gamer tag on like your Xbox Series X.
Yeah.
And you said, and then you do, when you had him on the show, and he said, I forget the exact wording. I just thought of this now. I do have notes, by the way, but he was like, so you weren't telling the truth. And you said to him, it doesn't matter if I was telling the truth or not. It's still an answer.
I decided for myself to do something with initiative. And I said, I want to try to actually get over on one of these people who's one of these content creators who's constantly a misery broker. And I know you've heard me say that before.
He has not used misery broker like over and over again up until the Side Scrollers interview. So I don't know where the fuck that word comes from.
What I think a misery broker is someone who literally doesn't make content for themselves. All they do is they look at other people's misery, they report on it, they make fun of it, they laugh at it, and then they make a bunch of money. So a day when it's a bad day for someone else is a good day for them. But in reality, if it weren't for other people, they wouldn't be able to ever have any popularity. It's the only reason they get anything.
So what you're saying, this whole entire thing for your casino arc was 4D chess that you were playing them to the point that you would hurt your own reputation and career?
Rich, not only that, I cased probably 6 or 7 different individuals who I thought I could maybe get in their good graces, figure out how to get in on it, and see what would happen. You were the reason that...
That is just... No. That is pure fucking whimsical Fantasyland bullshit. There is absolutely no way in any sort of anybody's like Rich's what I froze frame Rich on is perfect. Because there's absolutely no way in God's green earth at any point that anybody would fucking believe that he's some sort of weird manipulating mastermind. It's just not the case. I don't care what anybody says, what he says, it's bullshit. It's absolute bullshit.
That I contacted them. You were the reason why I affiliated with them. The whole co-op.
Okay.
You're gonna see it's accurate because I'm gonna show you all of it. The whole idea was to get in the good graces of the casino, to find a way to collab that was gonna get me over, that was gonna get me some popularity, make me some money, but also at the same time, make them think I'm some kind of a fucking idiot. Like, you are fucking stupid. So that they will always think that I'm indebted to them, that I'm always going to do what they say. Because I know how they are. Let's be honest here. We know Ashton. We know Andy. These guys are not squeaky clean. These guys have burned every bridge. They don't have friends. Everything that I laid out, every conversation I had with them, every late night bullshit session I had with them when I should have been asleep, every time I was on their streams kissing their butt, throwing them super memberships or whatever, was all part of this. I'm sorry I don't believe you. I'm sorry I totally don't believe you. And they think they have something on me. They're insane. How they didn't know How they didn't know everything I was saying was fake, I don't know. Because, I mean, I'll give you some examples here.
Oh, God, this is where the sick shit
I said, my wife was sick and she had found God. And now because of that, I can't do this idea that you came up with. And they bought it. I said, oh, my rabbit is sick, so I can't do the show today. My mom is sick, so I have to fly. I keep saying sick, like every excuse was someone's sick. Yet they bought it every time. Every fucking time.
Or you were just nervous to go do it, so you canceled on it.
But the point I'm making here is I basically manipulated them as much as I could to make them do what I.
I'm sorry, I'm editing my windows as I go through. We always just edit on the fly here. But how fucking gross is that exactly? Like, how gross is it that you would use your own loved ones claiming that they're sick in order to avoid doing a fucking gaming stream with somebody? Like, there's a lot of people that don't believe in karma. And, that's fine. You don't have to believe in karma if you don't want to. It's not like a must or anything like that. But just given the principle of what karma is, what karma can do, and how that can come back and bite you so fucking hard in the ass, why would you even contemplate making up a lie like that? Like, I don't understand how anyone with any sort of conscience could do that. I get wanting to get out of stuff, and he very obviously was nervous about doing anything with Ashton or doing anything with Worski, just because of the fact that they're very controversial figures. I understand that. But at the same time, just have balls and say, I don't want to do it. Don't fucking throw your mom or your wife under the bus. And what's even worse, and this is one of the things that we might have to actually go and look up the messages to see, but he was claiming that his wife, or not his wife, but his mom was like on her last legs, or his dad was on his last legs. And that, like, this year was going to be the last year that they were going to be alive. And he needed to go see them, so he couldn't, and he needed to do it quick, so he couldn't be on their fucking stream. It's just, that shit is just fucking gross.
I wanted. I got what I wanted. And then when I knew they were going to eventually turn on me, because we all knew that from the get-go, right? We knew they were going to turn.
That's kind of just gross, too, Phil. You would say that your family members were sick to get out of doing things with them?
What a complete asshole. Oh, it's not
one up on them?
No. It's not to get out of doing things with them. It's to basically have a way to make them believe that everything I'm saying is true. Because no one is going to think that someone's going to just pull that out of their ass. But to beat a snake, you have to be the better snake. That's the only way to do it. You have to make them believe the lies. And man, did I pull the wool over their eyes for the last 8 months until finally I had enough. And the truth is, I had enough for 2 reasons. Number 1, the disrespect to my family. And number 2, because I wasn't getting anything out of the collaboration anymore. These guys, all right, have some of the worst ideas I've ever seen for content. They were pitching ideas that would have worked, but they didn't have any clout to make the ideas happen. They legitimately couldn't make anything work that would have made us money. It was cancellation, denial, cancellation, denial, after. It was like endless.
I'm not a fan of the casino, but they did have the clout and the money to make things happen. I think the only person believing this in this stream right now is you.
You. Yes, you.
I don't.
Rich.
I mean, how do you do so? You're trying to tell me to believe that for the past 8 months, when you were sitting there gifting them subs, simping for them like hours upon hours on end, trying to get them to pay attention to you like they were Beavis and Butthead and you were Stewart, that this was all some big plan to get vengeance on people that if you never affiliated with, you would be in a better position than you are now. You went, Phil. It's just a fact. You saw that there was an opportunity there. Yeah. They feigned friendship with you. You called Andy Worski your gaming soulmate,
which is the dumbest thing I think you can call anyone. How are they your gaming soulmate exactly? Like, that's some border. Like, I know Phil likes to talk about that he's into women and that he's got a wife and everything like that, but it's some borderline gay shit. I'm just saying. Like, I don't care if you're gay or not, but like, at least admit it.
You were so into all this to the point that you let them shame you, and now in the end, after all is said and done, you come out on the other end looking worse, and you're trying to tell me that this is 4D chess.
Oh my God.
Come on, Phil.
Rich, I could never possibly come out at the end of anything looking worse. So we start off with the very first time that I ever talked to them. And this, I guess they've already admitted to this, that it was me that reached out to them. Of us
so you're the Batman. You're the Batman of drama merchants, going selflessly to take them down.
You can call it whatever you want. You know, you really can. But the point here is, I was the one who initiated the contact. I was the one who actually suggested the react to your documentary. They had kind of alluded to it on their show, but they never thought it would happen because they never spoken to me before. So I contacted them and I said, let's do it. This is a genius idea. I knew that was going to make money for both of us. I knew that was going to be big. It was going to bring me notoriety. It was going to bring them notoriety. There's a few pages.
It's always what he knew. He knew ahead of time. He knew this. He knew that. If anybody has seen Phil do anything in anything for long enough, who has a competent level of comprehension, you know good and well that there is nothing that he's doing that even remotely makes sense in that regard. He didn't know any damn thing. And the idea that he did is just frustrating.
Hearing us going back and forth.
Okay, Phil, I got a pin to pop on this. Here's what I think.
Go ahead.
I think you just your hate boner for me was throbbing. You saw that they were wiping the fucking floor with me, and you wanted in on it. And when they embraced you and treated you like one of the whack pack on Howard Stern, you got a taste of more money. Yep. You thought they feigned friendship with you, which you bought into. At least that's what it seems like. No, better yet, I think it was friendship, and I think you saw that you were getting money, so you, like, your nose was Andy Worski's asshole now must be spread out maybe like another 2 inches because your nose was so deep in there. Yeah. Like what I think you're doing now, as a matter of fact, I guarantee what you're doing now is because you know that this is disastrous for you, that you're trying to be like, aha, all along, it was my master plan. It was not your master plan, Phil. Okay. It wasn't. And look, that's fine, but I'm just not going to believe it. I don't think anybody with like a upper double-digit IQ will believe it.
I agree.
So we have two files here, and I'm just seeing if I can actually show you. So what I'd like to do...
It was you. What would you like to do, Phil? You were the ones who were trying to make it like they were your best. So
So what we can gather from this thus far, we're a little over halfway through this video. And I think we'll move on to the next one, to be honest. Because there's not really much else that happens in this one that's funny or interesting, other than, of course, DSP getting... So he gets so pissed off with Rich constantly calling him out that he finally kicks him out. But the idea that Phil is playing anything other than checkers with no pieces and no board is asinine to think. Like, he was bought into what they were doing, what they were saying, what they wanted to do 100%. 110% he was bought into it. And the idea that he somehow wasn't, that he was ahead of the curve, is crazy to me. So what I think we'll do is we'll get to where he kicks Rich out, and then we'll move on.
saying even when you defended them and went to bat for them with the numerous clips that are out there, and on your own channel, I've seen them because you always say it's always the track when they're like, oh, they're just razzing me. This was so you were humiliating yourself to get like a master plan of vengeance back on them.
I 1,000,000% knew they were going to turn on me eventually. There was no way they were never going to, because they've done it to everyone. They've burned every bridge. They do whatever they need for personal gain. And everyone knows this. Like you said, you knew it. Everyone else knew it. But everyone apparently thought I was the dumbest motherfucker on the planet. I'm not. I knew exactly what was going on from day one. They seem to be the only ones who didn't get it. They thought I was that dumb.
Or you were desperate.
Now, there's a difference between desperation and actually finally taking control of your destiny, which I decided to do for once instead of just being stomped on all day by everybody.
The best way to take control of your destiny is to not get yourself involved in that. The best way to take control of your destiny is to do rewards for your audience that isn't you eating pizza. Like those are ways to control your destiny. The way to control your destiny is to make content that's more entertaining. You could say I'm a clown, I'm a buffoon all you want to, but me getting the tattoo of you near my left ass cheek as you as Dracula from Castlevania is bizarre. Maybe it's a little gay too, that's okay. But it's like people want entertainment, and right now you're not. I know we're going a little off topic here. You're not offering it. Did you see the video where someone said that you the middle manager Phil? Did you see that video?
No, I don't watch any of those videos. I have no time for it. I'm busy doing this thing here.
It's think about it though. It's not
at the receipt.
Can we talk about your microphone setup too as well?
Who cares about my microphone setup? What are you talking about?
Because you've given me a lot of flack about this microphone setup, but this is actually technically the correct way. It ties
in front of me.
Is he being a 2-year-old child again?
As always.
I don't even hear what they're saying, but just with DSP's body language, he looks like he's throwing a 3-year-old little fit because he's not getting his way.
So we're at the point of this, like I said, this is kind of where I wanted to stop and move on to the next video anyway. But this is the point where Phil essentially gets mad at Rich because Rich is once again talking about something that he has long since wanted to talk to DSP about in person. And this is like the golden opportunity because, you know, Phil did the whole thing about Rich with the Casino Boys, and then they turned on him, snaked him, and now Rich is able to talk to him in person. But Rich is going to talk to him about like his microphone setup and how this is actually the way that it's supposed to be. Phil is basically just going to say that, long story short, is that he just doesn't want to do it. It's my stream, I'll do it the way I want it, which no one said he couldn't, but whatever. But yeah, there's really at this point, there's really nothing else to talk about with this video. It's just DSP having a massive meltdown over a fucking microphone. So we move on to the next one, where this is already after the Casino Boys have turned on Phil. They've already done... Yeah. Yeah, he was fed earlier today.
I just fed him.
Okay.
I should leave you to your stream.
Okie dokie, dear.
Give you a hug.
Thank you.
So the people hearing scuff noises on the mic, it's a hug.
It's a hug.
Yeah, I'm playing Split Fiction.
Okay. You keep playing Split Fiction. I'm gonna be hopping into a game after I'm done talk. I don't know yet. I'll figure that out as we go on. Oh yeah, Not My Neighbor, that's right.
Oh yeah, I paid for that one for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Donations. Technically donation and a request for you to play it.
That's true. That is very true. So that's what we'll do after we're done with this. Do Not My Neighbor. Donated and requested by the lovely waifu over here. Yeah. So this is after the casino boys have already turned on him. They've already talked about how big of an asshole and everything that he is, how big of a liar that he is, so on and so on. He goes on this big rant about how he's apparently a blue-collar streamer. I have no idea what the fuck that even means. Well, we might watch this one all the way through, just because I don't think that I've heard absolutely everything that he said yet.
What? All right, I've had enough. Guys, don't ever ask Chimchar to come back. He's never coming back over on Kick. I've really had enough of him now. I just, enough of this. He's done. He's not coming back under any circumstance. Stop screaming. Stop asking for him to come back. This is only the millionth time that he's saying something fucked up in the chat, and I've had enough of his bullshit. Okay?
Oh, no.
No more. I've had enough. I only have a certain amount of patience, and that guy's now been banned like 3 or 4 times in the last couple of weeks, and I've just had enough of him. Stop begging for him to come back. He's just a waste of time. So I can see a bunch of trolls over on Kick today. I'm just going to ignore the emote spam today. It's hard to chat right now? All right, I'll just ban all these people then. That's fine.
Banned, 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 banned. Gone. Forever.
I'm okay with that. Since they all want to spam and break the rules, I'll just ban them all. Here we go. Sorry that I have to do this because we don't have any moderators this morning over on Kick, so I'm taking care of it. Okay. No, as the Angel of Death, I have to because people are complaining in the Kick chat they want to talk and they can't. They actually want to talk and they can't talk because these idiots are spamming. So I have to ban all the spammers.
All right, so he hasn't covered anything too important yet, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a very quick break to walk my poor little dog over here, who is apparently begging me to go out. So I will turn on the BRB scene here, and I'll put on some music so that way everybody can have something to groove out to, and I will be back very shortly. And we are back. Back to doing this shiz again. I had to make sure that my all my stuff was running right, and thankfully it is. So that's good. But anyways, getting back to good old dum-dum here. Let's see. Whoops. It's what I wanted, but it's not exactly what I wanted. Dun dun dun. Real quick like. Yep. Whoop. Okay. Alright, back to what we were doing with good old dumb dick Philly in here.
There we go. Okay. Looks a little better now. All right. Now you should be able to talk. No, Kickbot handles regular spam. And what I mean by that is Kickbot will handle if someone's repeatedly posting an emote, if someone uses like way too many letters or caps, it won't just stop you from typing a single emote. And the thing is, there's like 20 sock accounts all typing the single emote, so it fills the whole chat. There you go. Much better now. Now, see that?
Much better now, I
If
guess.
Eddie came to me for a steak deal, would I consider a slot stream? I don't know, because I don't know what that means. I don't understand how these steak deals work. I don't know about slot streams or anything, so I can't comment on it. I am like completely uneducated, so I'm not going to say a word because I would probably just not know what the hell I'm talking about. You know what I mean? I don't think he's going to come to me for a steak deal, considering I don't even get 100 viewers on a stream. And we're seeing a huge drop-off in support on Kick now that basically all the Kino Casino viewers are gone. So I'm not getting much support anymore via Kick. It kind of sucks. I was getting a lot of support via Kick, and now it looks like it's going to go away, which stinks.
I did nothing wrong. I did everything correct.
But there's not much I can do about that, right? Why do I think support on Kick is dropping? Because most of the people who are watching me on Kick were Kino Casino viewers.
Oh,
and since essentially they decided to snake me, right? Well, then the viewers are going to go with them. Mm. You know, there's very few people who are watching Kino Casino that have stick around. Most of them have now left, and those who are supporting have stopped. And I think that's sad because the other day someone said to me, Phil, will you hold it against us if we still watch Kino Casino and support them, but we also want to come and watch you? And I said, no.
Of course.
So outside of this stream,
Yeah, see, that right there is just a bold-faced lie, too. Phil 100% believes that anytime that he has, like, certain people in his chat, especially if they come during his streams, that they should be solely in his streams. And PPP has already tackled that particular issue, but it's true. It's one of the main reasons why Iron Chef Sakai got so lambasted by Phil, is because he went over and started donating to different people and not just Phil. Phil got really butthurt that some of the thousands of dollars in subs that Iron Chef gave to Lex, for example, should have been given to him, not to some, as he considered it, to be a thought streamer, which is exactly what he thought of her.
I really don't care what you guys do. Thanks, Derek. I really don't. If you're going to go watch detractors, if you're going to go watch someone else, I don't give a crap. Just don't bring it into my content. As long as you don't bring it to my streams, the toxicity or whatever, we're good. All right? So just leave it at that.
The toxicity.
And I think what's happened is, so those are like, okay, well, that's cool. That Phil's not going to hold us against us. So a lot of people have continued to support the casino, and then they come here and still watch. But I think those people, quite frankly, are afraid to support my content. I'm being honest. I think that they think that if they support me and the casino, that this is going to cause some kind of drama. Drama. Shut the fuck up. If you're not here for the game, leave. And so therefore, you know, they're going to choose the casino because the casino's bigger than me. And there's nothing I can do about that. All right? There's nothing I can do about all I can do is continue to grind away, make good content, and try to build my channel, further. Get genuine viewers who are here to watch me rather than, I only checked it out as a favor to the casino. Yeah, see, that's the truth. I don't care if people stay in the middle. If there's people who are like, right, I don't care either way, I like both. I like the casino, I like Phil. I'm okay with that. No, you're not. I don't give a crap. Yeah, I'm not one of these people that's like, you must select sides and it has to be black or white, this one or that one. If you like both, go for it. Watch both. Support both. I'm happy for that. I really am. No, but sadly, what's happened is these people, are simps. A lot of these people are simps. They want to simp for the big boys. They want to simp for the big dog.
But if they wanted to simp for you, would that be okay? Because apparently there is a super fan out there that the casino has covered today, I believe. So, well, it may not have been today. I don't know if they streamed today. But the last stream that they had, they talked about your super fan, Pro Wrestling Reality. He's a simp for you. Were you going to tell him that he shouldn't simp for you? Because you don't want simps?
And here's the other thing that I should say, because it's kind of funny, all right? So, I'm going to say this and just get it out of the way. And I'm going to move on my merry way because I don't want to hang on this all day. All right, but here we go. You ready?
Or drama video makers, which I'm not. I'm not going to do just constant drama video. I like playing games and having fun with them and sharing those raw experiences with you guys and gals.
Exactly. Did you notice something about the difference between the work ethic of myself and Kino Casino? Did you ever notice the big difference? That I'm here 6 days a week streaming full time, busting my ass, putting out content constantly for an audience. And they stream 3 times a week, not even a full day. And then they take tons of time off. And then they're constantly on vacation. And then they cancel shows.
Maybe because they actually budgeted their shit out to the way that with the amount of money that they get, they can take that time off. They can take those vacations. I don't remember a time that you ever had a vacation, Phil. I don't even know I don't even think you know what that word means. I think your definition of a vacation is whenever you take the however long it is to get up and go piss during your stream. That's a vacation to you.
And then they're late. Do you ever notice that?
Sure. What the fuck?
Do you want to know why that is? Because you guys simp for them. That's why. Because you simp for the casino, you enable them to have that kind of shitty work ethic. You understand?
Makes sense.
If you didn't simp for them every stream and throw them thousands of dollars for simply turning the stream on, they would have to work.
But you're right. It's an element of jealousy, which I've said all over the years. It's always been an element of jealousy.
And they would have to work more. And they would have to work harder. And they would have to have better events rather than just the same old shtick. They would actually have to innovate instead of just doing the same thing every time they turn on their fucking streams. Do you get it? They'd have to work more than 3 times a week. Wow, what a novel concept. You'd get more content if you didn't simp out as much. Me, I bust my ass because I'm the blue collar dude. Who never had giant popularity. I always was the underdog on YouTube. I always did things differently. I didn't get the sponsorships. I didn't get the ball suckers. I didn't get any of that. So I've always had to break my back to make a living.
And that's why.
Now here I am 17 years later, and I still break my back to make a living, but I'm happy and I get to make content that I like. And I don't have anyone simping for me, quite frankly. Or I don't. I get people who are regulars who come by, but there's no one here who's like, oh, Phil turned on the stream. Here's $1,000 just because. If you guys would stop fucking simping, they would actually have to work hard. They don't right now because you keep giving them everything.
So here's the thing, though, is that if someone did come in every time that he turned on a stream and just dropped $1,000 on him, didn't even say a word yet, he's still got that dumb pre-roll going or whatever. If someone was doing that, that would be like, that that particular person, even if they weren't there, like if they just came in, dropped the money, and left, that would be his number one viewer ever, forever. Because if they did that every single time, well, frankly, he still wouldn't have money left over or anything to do any vacations, because he spends all of his money the moment that he has it. And it's always on dumb shit. So he's never going to be ahead, as he claims. He's never going to be that guy. He's always going to be stuck on level 1.
For nothing. So if you're like, man, I hate it when the casino goes on a vacation after vacation after vacation after vacation, you're the one who's giving them the vacation. Don't you get that? It's your reason that they're doing that. If you didn't give them so much for so little, then they would have to work. It's called cause and effect. It's pretty simple, but people don't seem to understand. I've been saying this about the games industry all along, too. If you don't reward lazy game devs for lazy work by simping and buying all their games, then they'll do better. How many people complain about how every Pokemon sucks, but then they buy every Pokemon anyway, and then they buy the merch, and then they buy the amiibo, and then they buy this? Well, they're never going to improve unless you force them to. If you keep simping for the casino, guess what? They're never going to improve. They'll always have the same content, only 3 days a week, delaying streams, canceling streams, bad work ethic, vacation after vacation. It will continue. It's direct cause and effect. I don't know why people don't understand that. You know, I just don't get it. But every time that I would see people would come on my streams and be complaining about the casino, they'd be like, why is the casino not streaming, Phil? I don't know. Maybe because last time they turned on their stream, you threw them thousands of dollars before they even said a word. Did you ever think about that? Like, now they don't have to work. Why are you a simp? I don't get it.
That's exactly what he wants.
Anyway.
That's what he's jealous of.
That's just the point. So, you know, I don't understand. It's like people just don't have common sense. They don't. They just don't have any common sense at all. And then they complain. And why are you complaining? You're the one that created the situation. It happens in the gaming world. It happens in the content creation world, right? Take a look at the direct difference, okay? You have supported me in droves way more in the last 8 months. We're hitting goals, right? We're doing constant special events, the return of DSP Tries It, the return of regular marathons that you get to choose what we're doing during them. We're doing special streams like Lego build nights. I'm constantly improving my setup. I'm buying things for the setup. I'm improving everything. Since you started supporting me more, all of the quality has massively improved. Like up, correct?
Nope.
What has happened since you guys started supporting the casino more? They work less and they take more time off.
Because people are like, oh, Phil, why don't you just take time off to relax or rest up? Like, every day I'm not here is a day I don't make money. And that's the problem, is like, I need funds to pay bills and to buy games, you know. It's not like I have the freedom or that luxury to just say, oh, today's just, I'm making so much money hand over fist that today I can just take it off. I don't even have that luxury. You know, the one day off a week that I take to spend time with Kat and do errands costs me.
Maybe you should think about that a little bit. But the point is, it ain't going to change because people simp because they're stupid. People don't simp for Darkside Phil. They come to Darkside Phil streams, they enjoy the content, and they say, oh, I really like this. I'm so happy that Phil sticks to his guns, hasn't changed, doesn't let others influence him. I'll support that. And so I really am kind of the blue-collar streamer. I do make a good living, but I have to bust my ass to get that living. You see, I don't have anyone who's kissing my butt, sending me ridiculous amounts of money for no reason. I have to actually earn it. That's the difference here, okay? I'm being called.
All right, Phil. Okay, so one of the things that is going to continuously, no matter what, irk me about Phil is this idea of him supposedly understanding business and business relations and what happens in business. he claims, and from what June the King uncovered, and I trust June the King's word over anything Phil has ever said. But June the King looked up that he does have some sort of like associate's degree in business. So that quite literally means that he went to college for 2 years. 2 years is the associate's degree, because it's associate, then bachelor's, then master's, and then doctorate, right? So he went to college for 2 years and got a business degree, associate's business degree, right? And he claims to be a blue-collar streamer, when in actuality, you're not any collar to anything. You're not a white-collar streamer. You're not a blue-collar streamer. You're a pajama streamer, to be honest. I mean, like, most of the time that we see you in any sort of stream, like the shirt that you're wearing now, for example, it literally looks like you yanked it up out of the bottom of like a clothes hamper and threw it on. You're completely untethered. That is the kind of shirt that you should at least, like, at the bare minimum, throw into a washer and dryer. You probably could iron it and it would look better, but, you know, extra work for you is basically like trying to tell someone who's a heavy heroin addict to just quit. You are addicted to not doing anything extra. You're addicted to doing the bare minimum, and then you do the bare minimum for like 8 hours a day, and you claim that it's hard work. It's not. I don't even know what you consider it. Like, I stream too. I'm doing basically the same thing you're doing. Is it hard work? Not really. The hardest part about the entirety of any stream that I've ever done and will ever do is just getting the damn thing set up and going, and making sure that everything that is running the way it should. Other than that, I'm not fucking doing anything. I'm just talking. If I had someone if I have like people in the chat, I would be talking to them. But that wouldn't be anything extra for what I'm doing. It would just be, it would honestly be what I would want to do. Because it's one of the main reasons to stream, is not just for me to hear my own fucking voice, even though that does come with it. It's still not the whole point. I would like to be able to have people to sit here and chat with, but sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. It's just like any other thing. It's a hit and miss. But you firmly believe that you should be able to turn on your camera and just tap your microphone, and then they just shower you in money. And you claim that you don't like simps and simping's not good, but if there was someone that was doing that for you, you wouldn't complain. That would be exactly what you would want to hear. Exactly what you'd want.
I'm being told it's white collar versus blue collar. Well, whatever the fuck the term is, I don't give a shit. It's called having to work to earn your keep and being okay with busting your ass in order to earn stuff. Get it? Versus getting handed everything and then instead of rewarding, actually taking away. Review Dropbox USA did a $2 tip saying it's a cope. There's no cope. You're the one coping. Because when faced with reality, people who are simps can't handle it and immediately have to try to oh no, that's not the case. I'm not a simp. That's not what's happening. No, this is it. No, that's what's happening. That's literally what's happening. You're simps. You allow them to have that lifestyle because you're simps. And look who you're simping for. Holy shit. You're not simping for Pokemon. You're not simping for Amaranth. Look who you're simping for. Holy shit. Thanks for the $2 super chat. Okay. No, I never simped for the casino. What the fuck are you talking about? God, you're stupid.
Because he's trying to be a what do they call silver-tongued talker, right? Oh, I'm just going to say it one way, And hopefully you'll believe it, even though that's not the truth. And that's literally what's happening here. The guy's a liar. The guy's a fucking blatant liar and lying to everyone. But people are believing it because they don't know any better.
Matty Vincent, I know, and that's why I told you guys I'm done with this shit. That's why. I mean, again, I was in a situation where people were constantly trying to change who I was. We're trying to pull me into content I didn't want to be a part of. And then we're telling me, oh, if you don't do it, well, we're going to force you to do it anyway. That's why I'm gone. That's why I'm not a part of that anymore. I saw the writing on the wall. I saw how toxic it was getting, and I just had enough. And I had to get myself out of that situation. And that's why I had set it out that way, that I had ways out. I wasn't trapped, okay? And that's a good thing that I did that. But I always knew that if I got out, it was going to be a situation where, sadly, there was going to be repercussions and fallout and drama and nonsense. And I always knew that was going to happen. It's unavoidable.
I always knew I was playing 4D chess. I always knew. I just knew it. I knew everything, and then everything that came up, I knew it was going to happen, and then whenever it happened, I knew it was going to happen, and 4 weeks before it ever happened. No. All right, shout-outs to Memology 101. DSP tries at me out, Memology 101. Thank you so much for everything that you do. The editing is amazing, as always. Yeah, so that's that. Last note on Phil, and I've said it before, I'll say it again. There's really nothing else that can be said about you, bud. Like, you're insufferable. Absolutely an insufferable person. You got snaked. You can't admit it because your ego is too fucking big, and it's just sad being you. I don't know what else to say. All right, so let's move on to some actual gameplay. I'm going to change the header here. And so that's what we're doing now. Let's go ahead and get this booted up here. I'll have to change the video settings and whatnot, but that'll be fun. So I played the demo of this game. Now, I played the demo of it on Twitch, I think. And I did start a game and went through, I think, the first 2 days. But we are going to completely start over. I don't know. I hope we don't have to do the tutorial over. Let's get this changed so I can get everything set up on the streaming end. And it's not just you all hearing things. I'm pretty sure that would be very annoying if I kept it that way. Alright. There we are. Oh, hey, we can do a new one. Start a new campaign. For those of you that aren't familiar with this, essentially, doppelgangers are taking over, or trying to take over our poor apartment building, and we're going to be the guy to try to stop them. And doppelgangers aren't perfect at what they do. Some of them make really funny and really neat imperfections. And some of them are subtle, some of them are perfect, and some of them are just outrageous. So, we're going to have some fun with this. We're going to have loads of fun. I get to readjust this because I had switched it up because we were listening to Felipe, and we gotta change shit up again. Oh my god. I got a black screen? I have to restart it. That's fine. If we have to restart it, we have to restart it. I'm not too worried. Yep. I did not get that. Why is it doing that? Oh. Right. Okay. That was a big goof on my end. So let's try to keep the doppelgangers out, shall we? Oh no, you can hear me crunching my seeds. No! Alright, well, that'll be the last one I eat then. I don't want that to... I didn't know that was going to be so loud in the mic. I apologize. Well, whenever you're ready, Steam. I've noticed that this has happened a few times. I'm wondering why it's doing that. Wow, dude. Man, maybe we can't play this. I'm not even entirely sure what's going on. Just as soon as it starts up, it's just like you hear it, like you can hear it through my end too, but it's just a black screen. I don't know why. We'll have to figure out why. All right. You know what? Let's try it once more. And if it doesn't work, we'll just call it good. That's I covered what I needed to cover anyway. come. I know things just work better windowed whenever I'm streaming, so maybe that was the problem. I'm really hoping that that's the case. I like some of the kind of keeping on track of this game. I really like some of the imperfections that the doppelgangers end up having. Oh, I can see it. There we go. All right. So Monday, February 7th, DDD protects us. Hundreds of doppelgangers are successfully eliminated every day. There's tensions at the borders. Allied countries are fearful of suspicious movement from enemy countries. How much longer will this artificial peace last? Civilians questioned. Local farmer Chester Titer disappeared yesterday after mentioning seeing strange lights around his farm. And, oh yeah, the clown movement. Interesting. Well, good afternoon, sir. Rude boys? Where's your request, sir? Floor 3-3. Oh, he's on the list. The Red Boys retired. 4242. Let's see if you're home somewhere. Ring. Only one in the apartment. Okay. Well, everything else seems to check out. That's correct. 3-3. We're on floor 3. Apartment 343. I think you may be alright. He is on the list too, right? Right on